catch it all from the court side. Got the lights, camera, action for the whole night. You name it and we got it at the BowTie. BowTie Sports, yeah, BowTie. We gon' catch it all from the court side. Got the lights, camera, action for the whole night. You name it and we got it at the BowTie. All of the sports, you can catch it at the BowTie. Commentary special with the bird's eye. You can watch it for your favorite like a franchise. Come and get your info from the BowTie. Talk about the plays, it's a rewind. You know that we got it at the BowTie. Running through the specs, Nike Reebok. Touchdowns, three-pointer, whichever you like. All you gotta do is watch, listen to the game plan. Pinning all the stats for the whole squad. Special teams or the starters or even the main man. Yeah, we do interviews at the BowTie. BowTie Sports, yeah, BowTie. We gon' catch it all from the court side. Got the lights, camera, action for the whole night. You name it and we got it at the BowTie. BowTie Sports, yeah, BowTie. We gon' catch it all from the court side. Got the lights, camera, action for the whole night. You name it and we got it at the BowTie.
We're now rocking with the best podcast show in the country, BowTie Sports. Let's rock, kings and queens.
Welcome back, everybody. Let's get this show on the road. Let me see, wrong one. Let's get this show on the road. We got sitting here with Darren Smith, and we got Coach Dre in the building. Also, we're gonna be talking about Chris Jones' contract, Kadarius Toney injury. Justin Ross is acting a fool in camp. Rasheed Rice and Scott Moore. Breaking news with Justin Herbert. Trayvon Diggs. And we're going to have Jalen Ramsey breaking news. What's going on with his knee. And not so serious with Joe Burrow. And sticking with the schemes, the fight tonight. Welcome in, guys. What y'all got to say about everything that's going to be talked about today?
I'm gonna say it like this. I'm ready for the fight tonight. I'm ready for the fight tonight, man. I'm telling you, because it's so much animosity, man. So much built up with this fight, man. You know, and but you know, it's all love.
Look, I'm gonna say mine right off the bat. You know, saying forgive my yawning and stuff. I had a horrible night last night getting into Vegas. They had, for whatever reason, when I left Kansas City, put my flight on the wrong plane, even though I checked it in on the flight right before I got on the plane. So I didn't get my clothes and stuff till like 4:00 this morning, man. So I'm on like literally no sleep. So y'all may have to forgive me a little bit if I doze off just a little bit. It's not for anything because of the show. It's because I'm up in age now, and I ain't 25, 35 like I used to be. But nah, man, I'm ready for the fight tonight as well.
Well, again, we got the GOAT in the building. You know me, the GOAT himself, Darius Smith. So we're gonna go ahead and let everybody, reintroduce yourself. Let everybody know a little much about you.
Oh well, Darren Smith, been in the media business for about 30 years since I was a sophomore in high school. Covered the Chiefs, Royal Sport in Kansas City, KU football, basketball, credential for events all over the country and the world. So currently, I am in Las Vegas to cover the Spence Crawford fight for tonight. So I'll be back in town on tomorrow evening, and we'll be back at training camp on Monday.
Okay. So, hey, if y'all didn't know, man, like, hey, I've been following him since I was a youngin'. Now we got him in the building. You know what I mean? So we want to get your thoughts on this Chris Jones situation. His contract. What's your takes on that?
Well, I mean, I think he should be paid. I think the squabble between Chris Jones and the organization, or the Chiefs, so to speak, is the amount. And I think they do want to pay him, but one of the things that I caution people that I've noticed from Brett Veach over the last few years, especially after Patrick Mahomes signed his extension, is that they are wary about who they give big money contracts to from their homegrown, from the homegrown team. And I see where they're willing to pay outsiders or sort of, well, let me put it, I believe they're willing to pay outsiders who have already built up their name brand at a younger age the money that they're getting, unless it's the offensive line. Offensive line, I think because of Patrick, they just, I think they just try to get the best option that they can. But other positions, I think if they can go younger and not spend as much money, but feel like they can still get that type of production, I think that's the way that they've been looking to go. Chris Jones, because he's pushing, and man, I didn't realize how. Look, I've covered him since he was a rookie. And I've been covering the Chiefs for a minute, so it's kind of hard for me to realize he's going to the last year of his second contract. He was a second round draft pick, which means he's been in the league going on 7 years. This will be his 8th year. So literally he will be pushing 30 by this time next season. And so, for whatever reason, a lot of analytics and pundits believe that when you get after a certain age, you start to decline. I don't get it because, when the game was much rougher in the 80s and 90s, cats were playing when they were 35, 36. But, what do I know? So with that being said, it's just a matter of, for me, and I tell people, if Clark Hunt wants it done, it'll get done. If there's a number that he's not trying to go above, he's not going to go above it. So I could see a scenario where just like uh, Tyrann Matthew. Now, granted, Tyrann Matthew was on a 3-year deal where he wanted an extension. But I could see a scenario where Chris Jones plays this last year of his contract out, and then they let him go into free agency. Because I don't see a scenario where they tag him because the cost of his tag would be too high. And if you're going to tag him at $31 million, you may as well just pay him the money. So because right now they already have a he's already gonna make $28 million this year on his last year of his deal, and so you're gonna pay him that anyway. So I mean, you're either gonna pay him the amount of money he's looking to get, or you're gonna cut him, or not cut him, or you're gonna just let him walk in the free agency. And I don't see a scenario where you do that and get nothing for him. So I think it's all just going to be haggled down to the final number, how much of it is guaranteed, and then what they can spread out to lower the cap hit so they can try to get other players because they do have people that they have to sign next year. But as I say, you worry about next year.
Yeah, because they got Trey Smith, Creed Humphrey gonna be coming up on his deal.
I think Willie Gay as well.
Willie Gay. So
L'Jarius Sneed, yeah.
L'Jarius Sneed. No, if
and let me say that that's a good problem to have because that means that you're drafting well and they're being productive. Now, but again, if you remember, what they did with their 2019 class, McCole and Juan, and they allowed them to go out and, well, they didn't re-sign them, but they allowed other teams to pay them, quote unquote. I don't want to say generational wealth because I think McCole only got $6 million or didn't get that much from New York, but I know Juan got a nice pretty penny. So it just depends. They may allow other teams to pay them the big money so they can keep rotating. Because right now, I saw something this morning where they only have 5 players from, like, I think Travis Kelce's the oldest, then Chris Jones and Patrick Mahomes, then a couple of other players, and everybody else on the team are on rookie deals. Who if they haven't signed them, like free agency, everybody else is on like free agent. I'm sorry, are on rookie deals, so they're able to get away with all this.
I'm gonna say this though because you make a valid point, but once you get a certain age now in the league, it's like I give Jones about 2 more years, and then here you come our rotational guy, a good rotational guy.
Well, the only pushback I got to say to that is that because of the shape, look, if he was someone who didn't keep himself in tip top shape, I would give you that, and I do understand the physicality of the game. I think Aaron Donald, people try to talk about the injuries he had last year.
Right.
They come off Super Bowl down year. That was a year that they were pretty much going to try to throw away when once the injury to Matthew Stafford happened. So, so for him, it's taking the rest of the year off. But I think he'll be back to where he was, being a top defensive player. So I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen any. The only drop off we saw of Chris Jones was when they moved him to the outside to the end, and I don't think that they'll do that again because again, for the maximum value that you get them for,
Right.
you're going to want to get the most out of them. So unless again, it depends on the structure of his contract extension. If it depends on how many years are fully guaranteed. Those years that are guaranteed, the Chiefs aren't. I mean, they're going to keep him unless for some reason they think they can trade him and get some value for
Some
him.
valuable picks. Right. Right.
Yeah,
Some
but
valuable picks for
but
him.
again, I don't see that because like you said, by that time it'd be 31, 32. Who may unless you're Aaron Donald, who you gonna trade him for? Unless you're Aaron Donald or Miles Garrett, who you trading them for? So
Right.
So would
Absolutely.
would you say Chris Jones more important to the team than Tyreek Hill?
Absolutely.
I mean, well, here's the thing: we don't know because we haven't seen it. I mean, we had to go a year without Tyreek Hill, and the only reason why you can say that is because the Chiefs ended up winning the Super Bowl. I mean, but if they were to have lost against Jacksonville or even in that case Cincinnati and not make it back, would we say that the year was successful without Tyreek Hill?
I would say this. I say yes because I feel like having a guy like Tyreek Hill, that type of X receiver, he demands a lot of attention, and the ball was going his way because he demanded a lot of attention. He wanted the ball. But if you look at the year they had one of the best years probably under Andy Reid, I believe, because the ball was spread out a whole lot more.
No, it
Mahomes
was the
had a
best.
chance
It
to
was.
really break down like defenses now because you didn't have that Tyreek Hill that you can just throw the ball up in the air, and throw it deep, and he can go get it. Now you had
eh,
to where you had to really read defenses, right? You had to really honed in on what you was doing. And I feel like this was like Mahomes' best year. That was his best year to me, as far as like efficiency, offensive production, without
No, it was
Tyreek
the
Hill.
best year. It was the best year in Chiefs history as it relates to the offense, just
Absolutely.
by stat by nature of the stats. I think Mahomes might have had. I think he had more touchdowns his first MVP. I think he threw
Right.
more pass. I think he threw more yardage this season, and I think the interception. I think he threw a few more interceptions than he did his first MVP season. But again, it just depends because of how you look at it. I mean, if Tyreek is here, I still think the Chiefs have the same success. It just depends on what you feel like success looks like because I think they still would have made it to the AFC Championship game. Whether or not they win that game, we don't know. But I'll say that. I mean, I'd rather have Chris Jones than try to find out what it's like to be without him. I mean, this is you got to remember. I mean, this is going to be literally the first year that we're going to be without Frank Clark. And for people who boo boo Frank Clark, the Chiefs won 2 Super Bowls with him on the team. I mean, they don't win that first Super Bowl without he and to an extent Tyrann Matthews. So we're going to see a lot about what the Chiefs are going to look like without certain players. And now,
Right.
again, I think Chris Jones. I don't know if he's going to retire. I'm not going to sit and try to predict it. I don't see him missing a season. That's still 20-some million. You just don't give that up.
hmm
But that being the case, I don't see a scenario where the Chiefs win the Super Bowl without Chris Jones on this team
hmm
this season. Now, that's not to say that other players won't step up, because what I do like about this team and what I've told people before, my X factor going into the season is I want to see how the first year players from last year step up their game again this year.
hmm
The one thing that I've always applauded Brett Veach and this coaching staff for is that the players that they draft, most 95% of them make the final roster,
hmm
and they find a way to play them early on, whether it's in preseason or early on in the game. So, in case someone goes down, they've always talked about, how they coach the backups to be starters. That's what you want. So if
Right.
something were to happen, they're not afraid of the big lights, and we saw that last year. We saw Watson in the second game against with the second yeah in the second game against the Los Angeles Chargers with the 99-yard pick six. What I'm saying, against Justin Herbert. That was a rookie. Doing that thing. Doing this thing in
hmm
that game. So I want to see a year in Spag the system, and like I said, I like to focus more on the defense side of football because I know
That's
the
right.
offense is going to
Same
do
here.
what it's going to do. So again, if Chris Jones isn't in the mix for whatever reason early on, or for some reason he causes me surprise and doesn't play this season, I don't think this will happen. But if that were to happen, you get a chance to see other players step up, and those players, Carl Loftus last year, all the defensive backs. You look at Leo Chanel, those players. How do you elevate your game the second year in your second year after winning the Super Bowl? Let's see what kind of hunger. And the good thing is, because of the core group that's around those players from last year, and even those players that came a couple years before, like a Trey Smith, like a Creed Humphrey, who who knows what it's like to lose an AFC Championship game and then come back and then win. Let's see that motivation, that hunger. If they still push you for greatness, then the Chiefs might be able to do it without Chris Jones.
Meaning, talking about players is going to be trying to watch for next year. What you think about Kadarius Toney? Coming from the Giants. Everybody said he was injury prone. Now, injury bug hit him again. What you got? What's your take on that?
I mean, history is what your history is. I mean, the Chiefs knew that when they traded for him, and but you got him on a rookie deal. So the investment that you got from I can't remember. I don't think they gave up much. I think they might have gave up a late round draft pick. I know it wasn't anything of
Yeah, I think
significance.
it was the third round.
Yeah, so it wasn't really anything of significance. But look, man, if every time to get this out the way, you want to get it done while it is not. Now look, it could have been something that was already in the works, and he flared it up and whatever. But if he's ready by week one or even a couple weeks after, I'm fine for it. I'd rather this happen now, get out the way now, because there's no games being played, and he wasn't going to do much in preseason. People have to understand. Andy will play him for maybe one or two series, maybe a quarter at most. So it's not like they were going to get a lot of action. The ramp up that he does is just for the opening night of the season. So, look, man, you get this taken care of right now. You're good.
Um, Again with KT, I'm just throw it out there, man. He's an injury prone. He stays hurt. He's never consistent. Now that he got potential, yes. Um, I
But
just
you're not
never
relying,
been
but you're not relying on him like you did Tyreek, as you mentioned before, because you got
see
so many receivers. You don't have
right,
to
right,
rely
right,
on. So
right,
that's a good
right,
thing.
and you don't. And the thing is, like when I was referring to earlier, like with the Chiefs of offense last year, um, that was very productive, man. They was like they had that. Because I was telling these guys is like when you have an offense that's unpredictable, like you know who the ball goes to, you become a dangerous. Your offense become very dangerous because who the ball going to? Like you can't say 35 the ball going to Juju or 35 the ball going to KT or 35 going to Kelsey. You don't know who the ball going to. So when
Exactly.
you have a guy like a Tyreek Hill, you like okay the ball going to Tyreek Hill or it's going to Kelsey. So when the ball spread around, it's a whole different element of surprise.
Yeah, and
So
to your point, I tell people that's how New England was able to beat Kansas City. At least got
that's
a
right.
jump on them in the
Right,
AFC
right.
because they shifted their entire defense to stop Kelsey and Tyreek, and that's
That's right.
exactly what
That's
they
right.
did. I think Travis
hmm
caught one touchdown, but that was the only pass he caught that game. Tyreek only had two catches. That's why Sammy Watkins and Williams, had the big games because the other two were,
Absolutely.
were, were shut out there. And so
hmm
again, without Tyreek, again, you were able to get away with it with Tyreek because one, you had a lot of assets that you got for him that
True.
you were able to capitalize on in the draft, and you pick up MVS, you pick up Juju, so you had and you got Sky Moore and a few others, and Watson that you signed with. So you got essentially four wide receivers for one. And
hmm
Tyreek Hill. And so again, that's one reason why going back to Jones, I can't see them, there's not enough for me, enough risk reward immediately that you would give for Chris Jones if you were to do
True.
something. I mean,
True.
with Tyreek, all this happened before the draft, so you could do some
Right,
hmm
stuff
right.
hmm
with what you got. But going back to Tony, like I said, the good thing is because you're not relying on him to be wide receiver. I mean, everybody got to see him being, just trying. It doesn't matter who the wide receiver is. One, Kelsey's going to get the most catches. Even Mahomes
Absolutely.
has said that. So outside of that, it's just a matter of who else is open, who can get themselves open, and then don't forget
hmm
he can throw the rock out the backfield to Pacheco, to McKinnon, and and obviously a couple of new players that they got. So, and then of course they got all the tight ends. So
Mm-hmm.
the issue becomes is there's not enough footballs for each player.
But each
But
player,
that's a
right?
but that's a good thing because again, as long as Mahomes is has a good rhythm and a good uh, relationship with these players where he's comfortable throwing them all the ball. That's what makes Mahomes dangerous
That's
because as
right.
you mentioned, you don't know
That's
where the
right.
hell he's going to go with the
You don't
football, and
know.
so no matter what defense you put out there for him, if you throw him shell high, you got him trying to play him deep, he can hit
Mm-hmm.
you underneath. Even if you try to play a man, or if you try because even if you double somebody, just by the numbers alone, somebody's going to be open. And if you try to bring pressure, I mean, if you got 5, 6 in the box or whatever, well, they're going to run the football or short pass, but they'll run the football. If you try to blitz him, I mean, he can still get the ball to the. I mean, so that's the beauty of this offense and
Yep.
what they've done.
Yep.
And again, it all ties back to me playing these players on their rookie deals as rookies and stuff like that, getting them in there, mixing with the veterans. So whether it's preseason or regular season,
Right. Right.
they're not afraid of limelight. So next thing you know, you don't know who's going to hit you because you're thinking, well, he's just a rookie, he ain't going to do nothing. Next thing you know,
Mm-hmm.
he beats you for an 80-yard post.
Mm-hmm.
So speaking
And,
speaking of speaking of the wide receiver, what you think about Justin Ross, Sky Moore, and Rasheed Rice? That's going to be catching passes now. Everybody hyped up on Justin Ross. Now I said it at the beginning. I've been saying it for the longest. Drake and vouch for me that Justin Ross.
absolutely.
I think Justin Ross was a steal, and I'm gonna keep saying it to this day. What's your take on that? What's your take on that?
I mean, if I go off his resume for what he did in college, he'll be great. I mean, I just think again for him, it was a thing for him last year getting healthy. So he got healthy. That was the most important thing with his foot. Now that he's healthy, he's got a year. I don't want to say he's got a year in the system and knowing the plays by being on the practice squad and being in the building and stuff like that. In the offseason, getting a chance to work out with Mahomes. Mahomes talked highly about him, so that was a beautiful thing. And then, of course, working out with the other wide receivers. Again, what you need is you need experience, and the best way to do it is by playing and practicing. And so you got the pads on, you
Mm-hmm.
going up against defense. And I don't. And to be honest, I'm not even sure. I think we'll see them, but I'm not sure if we're going to see a lot of them in preseason. One, they just have the numbers. You don't cut down until after the third game, so you go from whatever 95 or whatever the number is now to 53 after the last season. So I can see a scenario where if he you'll get a chance to know who's going to make the squad more or less by the amount of reps that they get in preseason. Because what
Mm-hmm.
you'll see is as you get to the second and third game, you'll see those players who are either trying to make the team or the Chiefs are trying to get enough film on them to where if you put them on the practice squad, somebody signs, you get some compensation for, or you're just helping them, build their tape up so they can sign somewhere else.
I agree. Like I was telling Mr. BowTie over here. I said I like Justin Ross. That's why I wasn't sold on D Hop DeAndre Hopkins. I wasn't sold on him because I believe what Kansas City had, what they drafted right now, makes this team even more dangerous. But like you say, experience is the best teacher. You got to have experience. So like training camps and preseason, because we already know what the veterans can do, right? We know about MVS. We know what MVS can do. Scott Moore, this is his second year. I think Scott Moore. I think he's gonna have a big year this year. Like Rasheed Rice, he's a rookie, so I believe we're definitely going to see in the preseason what these guys are all about. Like you said,
I
if
mean,
they get a bunch of targets, if they get a bunch of targets or whatnot, they got faith in them, or they playing pretty well. But it's all about to me, it's all about targets. It's all about
Right.
targets, man. How many drops you have? You go out there and you get targeted, you drop about 50% of your passes. You're gonna be on the you probably gonna be on the bench. You probably ain't gonna be an instant starter, but the upside is big for all three of them. Like Justin Ross is his technically his first year. Rasheed Rice been making big catches in camp so far, and I like what Scott Moore can bring to the table. But we definitely going to see in the preseason though.
yeah.
All right, real quick about Chris Jones' situation. I'll piggyback off that real quick. I think if Chris Jones does not sign, let's say hypothetically he does, he does something, he might hold out. I don't know. To see everybody step up, it's gonna be something to see, right? Because we know about the rookie Kalafis, the guy from Kansas they drafted or whatnot, and the guy that got from San Francisco. To see them step up, that's gonna be something to see. You know, if they can step up and get instant pressure, get good pressure without having Chris Jones out there, that's gonna be big with Kansas City. But is Chris Jones needed? Yes, absolutely, he's needed because in the AFC, it's tough in the AFC. It's very tough in the AFC this year. So Chris Jones
Oh
is a
yeah.
must. They have to sign Chris Jones.
Yeah, I mean,
They
yeah,
have
you
to.
definitely have signed him. You definitely have signed him one just if for no other reason. The quarterbacks that you're going to be going up against,
Right,
you know,
right, absolutely.
it's three positions that you know GMs feel like they have to pay for. You have to pay for the quarterback. You have to
Hmm.
pay to protect the quarterback. You
That's
have to
right.
pay to rush the quarterback, and so or to get to the quarterback. And so, yeah,
Hmm.
it's going to be imperative. I mean, when you look at it, I think this is probably. I've watched the NFL for a number of years. This is talent wise, uh, and I'm gonna say this, Todd. I need you to fix that lower third, man. It shouldn't say the shit with Darren Smith, Darren. So
Oh, okay.
I
I'll
put that
get
in the
it.
private chat, bro. It I would say this is probably the best collection of quarterbacks probably in the history in the NFL, just based off of one, the paycheck, but talent alone in a particular conference, and even though I don't care about a player like Herbert, I mean, I'm not going to take away from the talent that he has. And so
Hmm.
you just look at from Mahomes to Burrows to Allen to Aaron Rodgers to Deshaun Watson to Justin Herbert to Tua Tagovailoa to
Our
uh,
AFC is
uh,
stacked.
Lamar Jackson. I mean, yeah, it's just, I mean, it's a, I mean, hell, it's murder's row. And
It
so
is.
you
It's
got
it's a crazy AFC this year. Is going to be crazy because you can't take a day off. You can't take a Sunday off this
no,
year because anybody can get beat.
I
You
mean, we
know,
see the
And speaking of that, man, let's go ahead and get into some of the breaking news with Justin Herbert and his contract. No AFC. What y'all guys think about that?
News team, assemble!
We have Justin Herbert getting his contract of 262 million. What you guys think about that so far?
um, I believe it's okay. From a standpoint, from a franchise standpoint, you want to sign your best player, and Justin Herbert is probably is the best player on that team. But the money he's getting right now, I mean, he hasn't shown me enough to get that type of money. Um, I don't know if it's due to the coach, the offensive coordinator, but I haven't seen much from him to give him this type of money. I just don't see it. I don't agree with it. I don't agree with it.
I mean, my man just said anything I would have said. I mean, I don't, I'm not head over heels over Justin Herbert. He's
Right, right.
to me still the typical 6'4", 6'5", long haired white quarterback that people just want to fall in love with.
Hmm.
And to be honest, it seems like all these quarterbacks they're trying to compare it to Mahomes. They're trying to Mahomes with their
Hmm.
best because they just, you know, they don't want to see Mahomes as the face of the league, and every
Hmm.
time they face him, they come
Right.
up short, outside of Burrows. And so,
Absolutely.
I mean, I made a statement about mediocrity. Look, I mean, he put up impressive numbers, yeah, but hell, the team was 10-7 last year, and so for me, I get the next man up, which is probably what it's going to be. So,
Hmm.
unless they don't pick up their fifth year options, I expect Trevor Lawrence to jump him and to jump Joe Burrows next year, as well as Justin Fields. People gonna say, "Well, you ain't all that good." Last I checked, Justin Herbert ain't putting up nothing but numbers. So he's just the 2020 version of Philip Rivers to me. But
Absolutely.
so I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, I mean, it's cool. You want players to make as much money as possible, but he's got no division titles. He's got no playoff wins. his team. And it's funny because when it comes to Tom Brady and Mahomes, it's all about the wins and the W's. But when it's somebody else, it's their team. No. The
Right.
Chargers lost a 27-point lead. Yeah, whatever. He could have kept scoring. So they could have stopped the bleeding. He didn't. So
He did.
and
Yeah, and I'm gonna piggyback off what you just said too, because let's call it what it is. It's all about production, okay? It's all about production. What have these quarterbacks did at their time on their team? We know what Mahomes is doing. He earned this money and then some. Lamar Jackson, he had the MVP year. I get that. Cool. He's good. At some point, if you look at DW, right, Deshaun Watson before his situation, Deshaun Watson was putting up big numbers with what he had with a bunch of number twos and number threes. Um, but if we look up for as far as what these guys are doing, man, like to go like going deep into the playoffs, because money like that tells me that they trust you going to the playoffs, right? If you look at Trevor Lawrence again, Trevor Lawrence, man, played exceptionally well last year, man. I mean, the boy was looking very scary going against Kansas City. It was a fumble away. Like, hey, it would have been an upset. But if you're looking at just production wise, man, and the faith into these guys, man, like if you look at them like in big situations, just like
I
no,
think
it's
I think
like
I think
because he go ahead, bro.
I think he is a true Chiefs competition. Now, although the quarterbacks that the Chiefs have played, what I mean, I know. But I do, I really do. I think Justin Herbert, like every game that I watch, I was like, oh man,
Hmm.
here we go. It's coming down to the nitty gritty when we play them. Well, Josh Allen, the Chiefs, they walk over. You know what I mean? Justin Herbert, yeah, the Chiefs lost by 3 points. But when it comes to like with the Chargers and the Chiefs, it always came down like to the neck. Had overtime for the past 2 years. You know what I mean? Coming down to Travis Kelsey,
Right.
the Charger killer, knocking them off. But do I think he's worth that type of money? Just like Sim said, I don't think so. But at this point in time, with the rate of the quarterbacks are going, that's the rate you're gonna have to pay them.
Now I'm saying this though. What you just said, you gotta go look at Joe, man. Joe Burrow gives them boys problems. When the Bengals come here, they give them problems because Joe Burrow is meticulous. Joe Burrow been to the Super Bowl. Joe Burrow go to the AFC Championship since he's been starting. He's been to the AFC Championship. He's been to the Super Bowl.
We
Like
ain't
we
talking
talking
about
about like
we ain't talking about JoJo here, sir.
no, I'm talking about what I talking about for elite competition or going against Mahomes. Like Herbert, he's good, but it's like okay, but have you beat Mahomes for real? Like have you really beat Mahomes?
Now, speaking of beat somebody, do you think Diggs deserve his extension? What y'all think about that?
Trayvon
yeah,
Diggs.
Yeah,
yeah, it's not about what you deserve, what you can get. I mean, it's what they're willing to pay. I mean, he
Good
was
point.
he was an all pro. He's been an all pro. He's Pro Bowler. He's I mean, he led the league in interceptions. I don't know why you wouldn't,
I mean,
man.
to big
Again,
piggyback on what you just said though, Darren, I get that too, but do you trust him? I mean, real quick from what they got, I get paying them, I get that, but 5 years, 97. He's not a guy that I trust on third downs. He's not a guy I trust in fourth quarter to make the big stop. I don't trust it. He's an
okay,
instant guy.
okay. Check this out. See, one of the issues, and people,
Come on
people
with it.
catch flack one way or the other. Most of the time it ain't his fault. Most of the time it's the quarterback putting him in that situation with his interceptions that he had last year. He led the league with 15
right,
interceptions, and the man missed 4 games.
right.
So I mean the
Yeah,
defense is legit. Okay, it's more so the offense that had to get again. If your offense is clicking, the defense so the defense work itself out. You got to remember Patrick's first year when he won the MVP.
Yeah.
Hell, they was leading the league with 38 points a game. The problem was the Chiefs was giving up 39 points. So I mean,
Hmm.
that time the defense was. I mean, there's,
Hmm.
I mean, look, when you score 51 points in the game, you expect to win the game, but the
Right.
defense gives up 54. What can you do? I mean, so the thing is,
Yeah.
the defense has been on point ever since Dan Campbell got there and Diggs and Michael Parsons got there. I mean, the defense has been on point. It's the offense, and the offense has scored points, but the problem has also been is a lot of times those points come after they've already trailed it, and the lead is so big that Prescott can throw the football and kind of get them back in the game. But but they've been out of the game because of the interceptions and turnovers that the offense, that the quarterback has put them in.
Okay, real quick though, that's a good point, guys. But look at the pass rush Dallas had though. That pass rush can make any corner look good. It can make any corner look good. If you get that type of pressure they was putting on the quarterback, bro, the ball's going in the air. The
Okay,
time is off.
but hold on. Here's the thing: if the Chiefs had that kind of pressure, it had the type of stuff that Dallas was doing, would you be complaining about it?
From a strategic point,
no, you would because it'd be paid off and you'd be like, man, the Chiefs can't be stopped because they scoring 45 points because the defense is balling, getting pressure. Mahomes is putting points off of it. Again,
okay.
Yeah, so that's that's why I said, I got to call you on it because
hold on, wait. Okay, you want to go there? You remember 05, right? Was it 05, right? I think 03, 02. I think 02, 03, right? This is
going
the
back
Chiefs
20 years.
Now listen, listen, right? Remember Eric Warfield, right? Remember at the time they was balling, Eric Warfield was getting a little buzz, right?
I have Mad Dog
because
Russo.
They was blitzing, right? You can blitz all day. I get that. You can blitz all day, make any corner look good.
But Mahomes was playing in 2003, man. That's
okay.
Let
me get one better. We want Marcus Peters, right? Mr. BowTie, big fan of Marcus Peters. Big fan of Marcus Peters, right? I said, bro, he's only as good as the pass rush they had. If that pass rush wasn't good, Marcus Peters is getting burnt. He's getting beat every time. So Marcus Peters was the instinct guy.
Hold on. Marcus Peters' rookie year, he was All Pro and Defensive Rookie of the Year, and he led the league in interceptions with 8.
Why? Do you know why though? You know why? Because that pass rush. That pass rush was a force.
So you saying it was all part of the plan, Dre?
It's the pass rush. Come on, we can't say Marcus Peters was locking people down.
But y'all all both agree.
Both did Marcus Peters lock anyone down like by himself?
He was getting down. He was
going for the ball. It was a bunch of balls going in the air. He's making play. I mean, of course, you're gonna go get the ball.
And he returning for touchdowns too. So
off the pressure.
Yeah, but speaking of cornerbacks, man, what y'all think about Jalen Ramsey? Suffering his knee
That's
injury,
big.
Right? Big for the Dolphins. What y'all think?
That's a big loss. I think
loss.
They say he might get back, like I said, in December. But I will say this: the one good thing that's been reported was that in the trade that they acquired for him, he had his entire season and next year fully guaranteed. So he's so he's fine reps where he can just get fully healthy, and they expect him
right.
To be even healthier. Again, I don't, he and Tyreek, I guess, got tied up or whatever, and they both went down. So you hate to see it happen, but I don't know. I mean, look, to be quite honest, it makes me wonder a lot of times how these players either stay in shape or what they're really doing with their bodies during the offseason. I mean, we saw from the Netflix stuff, quarterback Mahomes trains, and he does, which is crazy sometimes the way he gets injured. But his injuries always seem to be freak injuries. So that's the other thing that's kind of crazy. But when you look at how these players are getting injured and going down and stuff, it does, for me, make me wonder what they're doing in the off season to really train and to keep their bodies, in shape throughout the year.
No, it's definitely real big because to play that position as a big quarterback, you have to be in tip top shape, man. You have to be, but it goes down. It's all about your protection too. From that standpoint. But with Ramsey on the other side is like you said, what are you doing to prepare yourself for the game? What are you doing? Are you just playing because you're Jalen Ramsey? You ain't got to do as much. Do you feel like you don't need, to take your practice, to take your train to the next level? Some people get lazy.
Mm-hmm.
Some players get lazy. Some players feel like I made enough. I got enough buzz out here. I don't need to practice as much as the rookies do or the other veterans do. Like some people, you're a star. You feel like I ain't got to practice as much.
But it's been a lot of people getting hurt in the training camp this year. You know what I mean? A lot of stars.
Yeah, some of it's freak injuries. I mean, even Joe Burrow, I think that's a freak injury. Just non-contact. Nothing you can really do to avoid that.
Absolutely. I definitely agree.
That's going. I agree. That's going to be but it's also going to be a big loss for, me for them too. So I think the Dolphins, you know, I mean, they got them just to be trying to lock down the other side. But seeing this right here, that's going to set them back with, you know, I mean, Tyreek Hill, everything they had planned for their team. So that's going to be a big loss for them. I hope he comes back in December. I hope he come back strong. I hope he come back stronger than ever. But hey, that's a more better chance for the Chiefs, baby. But talking,
you know what? I'm gonna let you slide with that one because I know y'all fear Joe Burrow, and I'm gonna put that out there like that, man. You know, Joe Burrow put fear in Kansas City, man. So
come on now.
Oh, I ain't saying he didn't. Yeah.
Hey, come on, Darren. I'm just saying now.
You ain't gonna get me to say he didn't because look, I was worried about that game. I mean, because look, man, the Chiefs had a nice lead in that ball game, and then they started coming back. I was like, look, man, I ain't got time for this, man. You better get it together, man. You ain't finna cost me another trip to the Super Bowl.
Man, come on with it.
But speaking of Joe Burrow, let's go ahead and get into it with Not So Serious and his injury.
Hi. I say we break into the place, crash the office, and make off with the records and say it was industrial escort.
I thought my jokes were bad.
I said,
oh boy. You Bengal fans are very worried right now about Joe Burrow. Y'all worry about his knees shaking and buckling on the field. But the thing is, we see the tweets, we see all the crazy talks about Kadarius Toney going down in practice. They was just blowing up, talking all kind of negative stuff. And then this happened. What it on his end, it looks to be not that serious. But at the beginning of it, it looks very serious. It looks like he could be hurt doing up for a walk. But one thing with Joe Burrow had to say before he took this in.
I don't want to waste any of these days that I have to get better. I've wasted enough days last 2 years with, injuries and appendicitis and COVID the year before that. I don't want to get out of camp wishing that I had, 7 more days that I could have got better. And so that's the reason I'm here. Maybe business comes first at some point, but I need these days to be my best.
Is there a certain feeling that?
See, what happened was he's in contract talk, trying to get a contract dude. And that's why I say don't go out there playing without getting the duds. If you miss the injury, this is what happened, though. This will happen. Oh boy. A lot of people are saying it's a kept spending, but seeing your best player on the field get carted off, going into the locker room, it could be devastating for the Bank of Fans right now. It could be very emotional, attack right now. So what you guys think about that? What you guys?
I think honestly it's just a little calf strain, like, he'll be all right. They ain't gonna force him in the preseason anyway. I think they're gonna let him rest, get healthy, get himself together for the regular season because he ain't got nothing to prove for real.
Yeah, he doesn't play much. Yeah, and he doesn't play much in the preseason anyway. So, get enough rest, and really he needs to focus on right now turning his attention to his contract extension, get that out the way. So in case if you do for some reason suffer another injury, you're protected. So that's what I'd like to see.
Yeah, I'd love to see him get a little bit of work. Both of y'all didn't agree with what I said, so So with that said, man, we want to thank everybody for putting their prayers out there for Joe, man. And then hoping it gets better, you know what I mean? Because it ain't better. There ain't nothing better like having competition up there. So we will see what we'll have next week. Oh, not so serious. But with that said, I'll see you next time.
Danger.
You know what I noticed? Nobody panics when things go according to plan. Even if the plan is horrifying. I'm not a schemer. I try to show the schemers how that.
It's crazy to see him get hurt like that though, but it's all right though. He'll be all right, Drake.
Because the thing is, you want competition. I'm a fan of competition, man. I'm a fan of warriors going at it. And if you're warrioring out there and the guy he competing against at a high level ain't out there, you playing against the team, it's not fun to watch.
Right.
Like I can accept the win when your head honcho is gone. You know, I don't like it. You know, I'm not a big fan of it.
Speaking of competition, man, what do you have for us and not so serious?
Well, not so serious.
Not so serious, but
no, not. It's all right. Cause you still stuck on Mahomes. He still got that KC. I'm gonna say this. Right now, I'm sticking with the Skins team. We got Earl Spence Jr., and Crawford. Man, now listen.
Let's get right to it, man.
Let's get to it, man. Let's go. Yes, sir.
Is one of the best boxers on planet Earth. And down goes Cal Brook. Errol Spence with some sweet combinations.
He is the winner by technical knockout.
You've got the 3 belts. What's next?
And now the unified welterweight champion of the world.
Everybody know who I want next. I want Terrence Crawford next.
I do believe this is the perfect time. You got 2 great fighters in their prime for all the marbles. It's going to be an exciting fight. I just can't wait for it to happen.
That's the fight we all want to see.
There's been a back and forth a lot with you and Bud Crawford.
I don't know your numbers, Save it.
I want all the smoke, but right now I'm looking at Terrence Crawford.
This is for Undisputed. This is a big moment for not only myself, but for Errol Spence Jr.
Saturday, July 29th, they're going to crown the first 4-belt Undisputed champion in 147-pound history.
The wait is over. Watch me fry this fish.
Yeah, I know what time it is, baby. Terrence, I'm coming for that motherfucking belt.
That gives me chills, man. You know what I'm saying? It gives me chills. These are 2 warriors going at it, man. These are 2 of the best. You hear me? This is pound for pound, man. This what I'm talking about. We ain't talking about no Mayweather and Pacquiao. It should have been. We ain't talking about you out your prime. These are 2 of the guys right now gonna put it all out there, man. Like my boy Sam said, man. He said he got Crawford going down in the 9th round, man. You know, I get it, right? But it's like this. They both talented. They're both smart. They both can adjust. I think honestly, if Bud doesn't sting Crawford, doesn't pop Crawford. I mean, if Bud doesn't pop Spence, doesn't pop Spence, and he doesn't have nothing heavy behind them punches, Spence taking it. You got to put Spence down.
What you got to say about that, Darren?
Man, as I said before, it's hard for me to really pick a winner in this one. If I had a gun to my head, I'd probably say Spence, but I wouldn't have a good reason as to why. I just think, there's been talk of Crawford having to drop some weight or something, or cut weight at the last minute yesterday. So we'll see. So that may have an effect.
Come on, talk your stuff.
But outside of that, I mean, man, I just, and people talking about these fighters that pass their prime. No, I don't think so. Not at all. I think, I think the buildup for this match was perfect. I think the thing for me that makes this fight extremely special, and you kind of saw it yesterday if you watched the weigh-in, is that they have respect for each other. They like each other. So it's not one of those things where you get angry. You don't like somebody because if you do something like that, when you go on, you're not like somebody, you try to do some stuff before the fight, you're prone to make a mistake in the fight that'll get you caught. these two guys here because they're I mean when their time is over, I think I'm not gonna say they're gonna be road buddies, but but they're gonna be but they're gonna be good friends. Again, they're friendly now, and they know what this fight means not only for themselves but for the culture, for the sport of boxing, and so they know that they owe it to themselves, to each other, as competitors, and to the fans to put on a good fight and to put on a big fight. So unless somebody gets caught, saying where and it's boxing, anything can happen. Um, I think it could be a 12 round decision, split decision, to where now, so depending on who the winner loser is, round two, fight number two is going to be at AT&T Stadium. So which means I have to go to Dallas when next time this fight takes place. So.
Oh, it's gonna be big. It's gonna be big. But I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this is a fight that, as a boxing fan, y'all boxing fans out there, this is a fight. It's a must watch. This is what boxing is about. Respectfully, competitive guys playing at a high level right now, boxing at a high level. The build up was great. I love both sides, and you have to respect both sides. I think it's gonna be incredible fight, man. It's gonna be some just to sit back and watch, and I feel like it's gonna bring a lot of people. It's gonna be a lot of fans back to boxing, watching these two go at it, because really, honestly, I want Spence to win, but I like Bud, so I wouldn't really be disappointed in this fight. Because for a long time we've seen a lot of fighters that should have fought in their prime and didn't fight due to circumstances or whatnot, due to allegations and stuff like that. And this is the only fight that I know that it's more it's come down to, like, there's no excuses in this fight. That's what I'm trying to say. There's no excuses on both sides. Both sides know what it is. Both sides know like what's about to happen. So I feel like this is the fight. It's a must. Like I can't even say, I can't put in the words how happy I am to see this fight. So
Yeah, and I'll say this because I was texting Ty. I gotta go. I know we got a few minutes left, but I gotta go because I gotta pick up my credentials. The first fight begins in an hour here locally, which is
oh
3 o'clock
wow.
you all's time. So yeah. No, there's they got fights, and then they got fights before the fights, and then the pay-per-view stuff. So
Oh wow.
it's a
So you
full.
got pre-fight,
Yeah.
pre-fight.
Oh no! This is a big card. You got it's about. I'm looking at it now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's 10. It's 10 fights on this card. So I really hate to leave, but I gotta leave because I gotta change clothes. I gotta shower, change clothes, and go pick up my stuff so I can get set up.
But we want to thank you for coming on,
Thank you
man.
again, man.
Appreciate
Absolutely.
it as always.
Absolutely, man.
But
And,
Good deal.
and of course I'll come on during the football season. That's no doubt.
All right, most definitely. Go Lions.
Whatever. No, don't listen to him.
Get that out there with you, Darren. Go take that with you.
All right, Darren. Nice for coming on. But Dre, man, so you still got Spencer taking this one. It's okay, Spencer taking this.
I got Spencer taking it, bro. Come on, man.
I got Crawford, man. I got Crawford. You know what I mean? Taking it. I got him taking it in the fifth.
It's tough.
In the fifth round,
tough,
man.
Bro. What? Fifth round.
Fifth round.
Hey man, you must bring that green hat. Is that a green hat? Is that a green hat you wearing over there? That's
money.
A green hat. That's my money hat. Okay, money hat.
Then he got the
Yeah, hey, you see, hey, what's his name? King Cooper. That's gonna be Spence. King Cooper. You know what I'm saying? Sam said fifth round. Sam says what? Fifth round.
Yeah, fifth round.
Fifth round. Fifth round. Fifth round. Spence taking it. Fifth round, man. Hey, I'm gonna test your jaw. Hey, that's what Spence saying right now. Spence saying I'm about to test your jaw. You know what I'm saying? Because we gonna see who jaw's weak.
Oh, we want to thank everybody for watching, man. It was a nice show, man. It was a nice show.
Straight up, man. I test your jaw, bro. I'm telling you, bro. I'm testing chins, man. You hear me?
Hey, you got to see how that jaws. You got to see how that jaws function, man. You got to see.
Oh man, that's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be a crazy fight.
But we want to thank everybody for watching, man.
Most definitely.
It's been a blessed Saturday. Also, remember, always enjoy your Saturday. Love on your loved ones. You know what I mean?
Most definitely.
Also, watch the fight tonight, man. If you ain't got,
gotta watch the fight, man. Y'all gotta watch this fight.
See who got it, man, and see can you go over there. But you got to bring in something to eat, man. You can't just go into somebody's house.
Nah, you better bring something. Hey, that's called what it is, man. Hey, you better bring something. Don't come. Hey, Dre was nothing.
Coming to the fight.
Appreciate it, Sam. Appreciate it, bro.
We want to thank everybody for watching, man. It's been a great show. We'll see you guys next Saturday, man.
All right, we out. Peace.